Here's what I don't understand about MAGA and Trump supporters. Ben Dover, whose profile photo is Tom from MySpace, follows me. He follows my page. He's clearly MAGA Trump supporter, follows my page, and leaves that comment. I never implied that they were. I never said that they were. I never said that I give two shits if they're looking for my forgiveness. The only thing that I stated in that video where that comment was left was that they'll never have it. They will never, ever, ever, ever have my forgiveness for voting for Donald Trump in 2024 and what they are doing to this country. Because Donald Trump told all of us quite explicitly what he was going to do to this country and what he was going to do to us. He said it out loud dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And people like you heard him and said, yes, that's what I would like to happen. And you voted for a convicted felon, an adjudicated rapist, a man who was found liable for a decade's worth of fraud, who still owes the state of New York $600 million in judgments, fines, interest, and penalties for that case. A man whose company was found guilty of 17 felonies related to fraud. A man who paid two separate women $130,000 each because he had sex with them outside of his marriage. At least one of those interactions took place while his wife Melania was pregnant with their son Barron. And you think that he's a Christian. And you think that you're a Christian and that he's a Christian and that God chose him. A man who used the full power of the executive branch of the United States government to try to overturn a free and fair election. A man who was indicted on 91 felonies in 4 separate jurisdictions, including 35 violations of the Espionage Act because he stole classified documents that he wanted to use to impress members of his golf clubs because his self-esteem is worse than mine. Oh, a man who is trying to doing every single thing that he possibly can to take us back to 1850. I know a lot of people like to say 1950, but he's really trying to take us back to 1850. A man who is using the full power and force of the executive branch of the United States to make life even harder than it already was for trans people and for trans kids. And you think that is star-spangled awesome. A man who is using the full power of the federal government to demonize the LGBTQ community. To bring back the United States to a time when white supremacy reigned and patriarchy dominated by white men reigned. How's that Pete Hegseth pick working out for you? Oh man, holy shit balls. Yeah, but whatever. You guys won. I'll give you that. That's a fact. You guys won. A majority. Well, I mean, he didn't break 50%. A plurality of the American electorate looked at that guy convicted of 34 felonies, an adjudicated rapist, a fraudster who still owes the state of New York $600 million, who tried to overturn a free and fair election, incited his own followers to break into the Capitol, shit in their own hands, and smear it on the wall. You were like, yeah, we want that guy. We want that guy. Indicted 91 times for felonies in 4 separate jurisdictions. And you're like, we will pick all of that instead of voting for this black lady who has a funny laugh, who has served for over 30 years in all 3 branches of government. She won countywide elections in San Francisco 2 times for district attorney. She won statewide elections for attorney general 2 times in a state with 40 million people. She won an election to the United States Senate in California, 40 million people. And she won election to the vice presidency of the United States with Joe Biden in 2020, kicking the shit out of your guy. And they didn't even have to leave their basement. And that makes you guys fucking crazy. Yeah. I will never, ever, ever, ever forgive anyone who voted for Donald Trump in 2024. I will hold each and every one of you responsible for what is happening right now for the rest of my life and for the rest of your lives. And I think that you guys should be marked in some way so that when all of this is over and done in 5 years, that the rest of us can still spot you in public every single fucking day for the rest of your lives. And that you should be shunned and treated accordingly for the rest of your lives. Because when somebody tells me that they voted for Donald Trump in 2024, I know 10 or 12 things about them. I know they're dumb, gullible, loud, mean, cruel, easily manipulated, easily separated from their money. That's 7. I know that they're racist, bigoted, misogynist, homophobic, transphobic, and ableist. That's 6 more. That's 13. I know those 13 things about you before you say anything other than I voted for Donald Trump in 2024. And the rest of us know those things too. Have a great night.